Dear viewers, in Islam, we find many detailed accounts of once powerful nations and individuals who rose in strength and influence, only to be brought to ruin. These stories serve as powerful reminders that any strength or power a human possesses, whether over the land or their body, is only granted by Allah, and it remains only as long as He wills. Allah alone is the source of all power and might. He is eternal. He has always existed and will always exist. He never sleeps, never tires, and has no need for food or drink. He is free from all imperfections. Exalted in power, He is above all. In the noble Quran, Allah recounts the downfall of powerful civilizations that came before us. These were nations that turned arrogant, committed injustice, and denied faith. Over and over again, Allah tells us how they were destroyed, becoming lessons for all of humanity, because they rejected His prophets and refused to worship Him alone. Among these nations was the tribe of the Mud, whose story we will share with you today, using a variety of historical and Islamic sources. So we encourage you to watch until the very end, without skipping, to fully grasp the significance of their story. Who were the Mud? The Mud was an ancient Arab tribe mentioned numerous times in the Quran. They were known for their remarkable skill in carving homes and monuments into solid rock and mountains. Despite their advancements, they were destroyed by a severe punishment from Allah for rejecting the message of His prophet Saleh. According to Islamic tradition and archaeological findings, the Mud lived in the northern region of the Arabian Peninsula in an area now called Mada-in Saleh, also known historically as Al-Hijr. This city was located along the ancient trade route from Hijaz to Syria. The tribe of the Mud is believed to have existed approximately 1,000 years before Prophet Isa, Jesus, with their presence continuing until close to the time of Prophet Muhammad. Some genealogies trace their ancestry back to a man named the Mud ibn Jasher ibn Iram ibn Sam. Just as the people of Ad ruled the southern and eastern parts of Arabia, the Mud ruled the western and northern regions. They were a strong and prosperous nation, well-versed in construction, particularly in carving into stone and building tombs that still remain as ruins today. The message of Prophet Saleh. Allah chose Prophet Saleh to guide the people of the Mud. He called them to worship Allah alone and to abandon the idols their forefathers worshipped. But instead of believing, the people mocked him. They demanded a miracle, saying, "You are just a man like us." In response, Allah granted Prophet Saleh a miraculous sign, a unique she-camel, known as Nakatullah, the she-camel of Allah, which emerged from a solid rock. This camel was a clear sign of Saleh's truthfulness. Saleh warned his people not to harm her, and to allow her to drink from their well on specific days. In return, she produced abundant milk for the people. However, her presence became a source of anger and resentment among Thamud's leaders. Eventually, 9 influential men, including individuals named Kidar and Musadak, conspired to kill the she-camel. Despite warnings, they carried out their plan and killed her. Prophet Saleh then warned them, saying, "Enjoy your lives for 3 more days. After that, the punishment will surely come." The punishment and aftermath. As promised, Allah's punishment came upon them. A mighty blast, a deafening sound, and a violent earthquake destroyed them completely. The Quran describes how the Mud were left lying lifeless in their homes, as though they had never existed. Only Prophet Saleh and those who believed in him were saved. Surah Al-Araf and Surah Hud mention this event in vivid detail. In Surah Hud, Allah quotes Prophet Saleh saying, "O my people, worship Allah. You have no deity other than Him. He created you from the earth and settled you on it. So seek His forgiveness and turn to Him in repentance. Surely, my Lord is near and responsive." But the people replied, "O Saleh, we had high hopes in you. Do you now forbid us from worshiping what our forefathers worshipped? We are in doubt about what you are calling us to." Despite his continued efforts to guide them, they remained arrogant. They rejected Allah's signs and harmed His miraculous creation. In the end, their disbelief and rebellion led to their destruction. A lasting lesson. The story of the Mud is mentioned 23 times in the Quran, always as a warning to humanity, that no matter how powerful or advanced a nation may be, Rejecting the truth and turning away from Allah leads only to destruction. Dear viewers, may we take this as a powerful reminder. Let us learn from the fate of those who came before us, and always turn to Allah in humility, obedience, and sincere faith. The final signs and destruction of the mud. According to Islamic tradition, the punishment of the mud was preceded by a series of ominous signs. On the first day, their faces turned yellow. On the second day, they turned red. And on the third day, their faces became black. A terrifying progression that signaled the approaching divine punishment. Then, as promised by Allah, destruction struck them. Islamic sources affirm that the destruction of the mud occurred before the time of Prophet Abraham. In Sahih al-Bukhari, there is a narration that during the expedition to Tabuk, the Prophet Muhammad and his companions passed by the ruins of the mud. The Prophet warned them not to enter the dwellings or drink from their wells unless they were weeping out of fear, lest they be afflicted with the same punishment. Historical and archaeological references. Although the Quranic narrative stands independently, some archaeological discoveries provide physical evidence of this ancient tribe. The stone-carved structures of Al-Hijr, Madar and Saleh are widely believed to date back to the Nabatean period, particularly around the 1st century CE. The 9th century Islamic historian Ibn Zayd suggested that the mud and the Nabateans may be one and the same, or at least connected. Some poetic traditions even claim that the man who killed the she-camel was struck down by lightning, and her calf stood atop a rock cursing the tribe before their destruction. According to one version, only a lame woman survived to tell the tale of Thamud's downfall. While it's debated whether these stories are of pre-Islamic origin or later Islamic-era additions, they reflect the deeply embedded memory of this nation's fate in the Islamic worldview. Linguistic and scholarly debates. The origin of the name the mud is also a matter of scholarly discussion. Some scholars say the word is Arabic, possibly meaning little water, reflecting the harsh desert environment they lived in. Others believe the term to be non-Arabic in origin. The Quran refers to the mud 26 times, always in the context of warning and moral lessons. Surah Al-Hijr, 15 hours 80 minutes, likely refers to this nation, as it names the area they inhabited. The Quran describes their rock-hewn dwellings, fertile lands, and idol worship. Though the Quran does not specify a date, the mud is frequently mentioned after the people of Ad, suggesting a historical order. Additional historical insights. Ancient texts dating as early as the 8th century BCE and as late as the 2nd century CE contain references to a people believed to be the mud. According to Islamic belief, Prophet Saleh came before Prophet Ibrahim, and some traditions mention a 500-year gap between the destruction of the people of Ad and the rise of the mud. Some genealogical traditions state that the mud descended from Sam, Shem, the son of Prophet Noah. Geographically, their civilization thrived near Wadi al-Qura, possibly close to the river Sirk, in a region called Hijr, situated along the trade route from Hijaz to Greater Syria. Prophet Muhammad and the region of the mud. During the Prophet Muhammad's journey to Tabuk, he again warned his companions not to linger in the region of Hijr, fearing the effects of the cursed land. Scholars like Jawad Ali believe the area covered parts of modern-day northern Saudi Arabia and Jordan. Many believe that Mount Asal and nearby areas still hold remnants of Thamudite structures and inscriptions. Although the Quran doesn't detail the early life or customs of the mud, Islamic narrations fill in the gaps. According to Imam al-Baqir, the mud worshipped 70 idols. Imam al-Sadiq narrated that they revered a massive rock, around which they gathered yearly to offer sacrifices. Some inscriptions linked to the mud, including one dated to 267 BCE, redated later to 476 CE, even depict Prophet Isa, Jesus, suggesting some tribes may have adopted Christianity at a later point. Rejection and destruction. The people of the mud demanded a miracle, a she-camel emerging from a mountain to prove Prophet Saleh's legitimacy. When Allah granted this miracle, the she-camel Nakatullah appeared. She drank from the well every other day and produced milk in abundance for the people. But this miracle turned into a test. The influential leaders of the tribe grew resentful. 9 men, identified in various traditions, plotted and killed the she-camel. Prophet Saleh warned them that divine punishment would strike them in 3 days. On the first day, their faces turned yellow. On the second, red. On the third, black. Then came the punishment, described in the Quran using multiple terms. Ayah, a deafening scream or thunderous blast. Awith Makranika, a destructive thunderbolt. Araja, a violent earthquake. Scholars interpret these as either different stages or manifestations of the same punishment. Those who believed in Prophet Saleh were saved, while the rest were wiped out, lifeless in their stone-carved homes as if they had never lived there. Post-destruction migration and legacy. Some sources mention that a few individuals, spared from the punishment, migrated to other regions like Mecca or Palestine. In certain traditions, descendants of the mud are believed to have settled in Palestine, and tribes such as Banu Hillel or Saki are sometimes linked to them, though historians like Ibn Khaldun express skepticism. Archaeological findings in northern Arabia, especially around Madain Saleh, have uncovered rock inscriptions and names of idols worshipped by the mud, such as Raji and Salam. Though the Torah does not mention the mud, their existence is widely confirmed through Islamic tradition and later archaeological evidence. According to Islamic scholars like Dr. Muhammad Najib Asli, the Thamud were a powerful Arab tribe who emerged after the destruction of the people of Ad. Their land, Madain Saleh, meaning the cities of Prophet Saleh, lies between Medina and Tabuk, approximately 380 kilometers northwest of Medina. While visiting this historic site is not obligatory, many Muslims do so out of historical and religious interest. However, as taught by the Prophet, one must approach it with humility and fear of Allah, reflecting on the fate of those who defied divine guidance. The fate of Madain Hijr and the final warning. Dear viewers, today, the ancient city of Madain, also known as Hijr, remains a desolate place. It lies approximately 22 kilometers from the vibrant modern city of Alula, which is known for producing citrus fruits, grapes, mangoes, wheat, and barley. In stark contrast, Madain has remained lifeless for thousands of years. Not even drinking water is found there. This haunting silence is not a coincidence. It is the mark of Allah's punishment that descended upon the rebellious people of the mud. Even today, those who visit Madain must bring water and supplies from Alula, as no sustenance exists in this once mighty land. Historical significance and cautionary command. During the Ottoman period, a railway station was built in Madain in 1907, making it the second largest station after Medina. Trains once connected Medina to Damascus, passing through this historical region. But after the Ottoman Empire's fall, this railway came to a halt. The Prophet Muhammad, during the expedition to Tabuk, passed by the ruins of the mud and warned his companions not to dwell in the area. He said, "This is not a place for sightseeing. It is a place for weeping and reflection." He instructed them to quickly pass through and not to use the water from the wells, except the one from which the she-camel of Prophet drank. The Prophet sent to the mud. Prophet was sent to guide the people of the mud. He descended from the line of Sam, the son of Prophet Noah. The mud was a mighty and skilled nation, experts in carving homes into solid rock. But despite their strength and accomplishments, they worshipped idols. Prophet invited them to worship Allah alone, the creator of the heavens and the earth. The people rejected him. Then they challenged him, "Bring forth a she-camel from this mountain, and we will believe in you." So Prophet prayed, and by Allah's command, a miraculous she-camel emerged from a mountain known as Fire al-Naka. The trial of the she-camel. The she-camel was a sign from Allah, a living miracle. Out of fairness, a water-sharing arrangement was made. The she-camel would drink from the well one day, and the people could use it the next. At first, the people showed some respect for this miracle, but soon, envy, arrogance, and rebellion returned. Prophet repeatedly warned them not to harm the camel. Yet, a group of wicked men from the mud plotted and killed her. Prophet declared, "Enjoy your lives for 3 more days. After that, the punishment of Allah will come upon you." a nation's final moments. Instead of repenting, they mocked the warning and even plotted to kill Prophet Lee himself. But, as the Quran mentions in Surah An-Naml, their evil plot was foiled by Allah. The signs of doom began. On day 1, their faces turned yellow. On day 2, they turned red. On day 3, they became black. And then it happened. A mighty scream shattered the land. Their eardrums burst, their hearts collapsed, and a powerful earthquake struck. Every last soul perished, lying lifeless in their rock-carved homes, as if they had never lived there at all. Lessons from the Quran. The destruction of the mud is mentioned in the Quran numerous times, particularly in Surah Al-Araf, Surah Hud. In these verses, Allah recounts how Prophet Lee said, "O my people, worship Allah. You have no deity besides him. A clear sign has come to you from your Lord, this she-camel of Allah. So leave her to graze freely in Allah's land, and do not harm her, or a painful punishment will overtake you." But the arrogant among them said, "O Lee, we had high hopes in you. Are you telling us not to worship what our forefathers worshipped?" They rejected faith. They killed the she-camel, and they defied the Prophet. The punishment that came is described using powerful terms. Ayah, a thunderous, piercing scream. Araja, a devastating earthquake. Awithmakronika, a destructive thunderbolt. Reflection from Mahmud Najmi. The writer Mahmud Najmi paints a vivid picture. In the colorful city of Hijr, a portion of the night had passed. Music, dancing, feasting. Every corner was alive with sin. Wealth and comfort had made them heedless. Shame ruled over their desires. Immorality ran rampant. Amid all this, the Prophet of Allah cried out, "O my people, you have only 3 days left." But they mocked him again. Then the final night came. People went to sleep after their sinful indulgence. But before the sun could rise, a terrifying scream pierced the air, and the earth quaked beneath their feet. Their bodies lay motionless, face down in their homes, wiped from the face of the earth. A warning for all generations. The ruins of the mud, the legacy of Prophet Lee, and the silence of Madarin Lee are a living reminder that Allah's punishment is not limited to the hereafter. It can descend in this world upon those who defy his guidance. Prophet Muhammad, as narrated by Ibn Umar and Abu Dar, instructed his companions to avoid the water of the mud, except from the well used by the she-camel, and dispose of dough and water they had taken from the other wells. Pass through the area quickly, weeping if possible. He said this is not a place to tour, but a place to reflect and humble oneself before Allah. Sunrise over mountains, the story of the mud and Prophet Saleh. Round pushpin location and background. The mud was a powerful ancient Arab tribe that lived in Al-Hijr, Madarin Saleh, located in present-day northwest Saudi Arabia, near the city of Al-Ula. This region was blessed with fertile land, gardens, and rich agriculture, and the people were known for carving magnificent homes into mountains. Despite their skills and prosperity, they turned away from Allah, worshipped idols, and lived in luxury and arrogance. Scroll prophethood of Saleh. Prophet Saleh was sent to guide his people, reminding them to worship only Allah and abandon their false gods. Although respected before his prophethood, after his message began, most rejected him. They demanded a miracle, a pregnant she-camel to emerge from a mountain. Allah granted the miracle. Camel, the she-camel, a divine test. The she-camel, referred to in the Quran as Nakatullah, miraculously came forth. She was not to be harmed and had specific rights, drinking from the well on alternate days. Despite witnessing this miracle, the majority still disbelieved and grew annoyed by the camel's presence. Crossed swords, murder of the she-camel. Influenced by Satan and seduced by 2 women, 9 wicked men conspired and killed the she-camel. Her calf escaped crying to the mountains. The Prophet Saleh warned them, "Enjoy for 3 days, then punishment will descend. High-voltage divine punishment." After 3 days, a mighty earthquake, screaming blast, and lightning destroyed them all. The once thriving valley turned into a lifeless desert. The carved homes remain, silent and empty, monuments of warning. Prophet Saleh and the few believers were saved by Allah's mercy. Mosque mention in the Quran. The story is referenced in multiple surahs. O Surah Al-Araf 7. O Surah Hud 11. O Surah Ash-Shu'ara 26. O Surah Al-Hijr 15. O Surah An-Naml 27, and others. Warning lessons for today. Wealth, skill, and power are not signs of divine approval. Without faith and righteousness, they become a source of destruction. Like the mud, modern nations risk Allah's wrath if they indulge in arrogance, corruption, and forgetfulness of the Creator. The ruins of Ma'in Saleh, still visible today, serve as a timeless warning. Prophet Muhammad's command. During the expedition of Tabuk, the Prophet passed through this area. He advised the companions not to use its water except from the well the she-camel drank from. He said, "Do not enter upon these people who were punished, unless you are weeping. If you are not weeping, do not enter upon them, lest what befell them befalls you." Hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. Nature may tolerate the rebellion of individuals, but never the rebellion of an entire nation. Let the ruins of the mud and the cry of the she-camel echo in our hearts as reminders to turn back to Allah, uphold justice, and live humbly. Snow-capped mountain, the story of the people of the mud, a nation of stone and sin. Round pushpin geography and historical context. The mud lived in a region called Al-Maskin, around 40 kilometers east of Al-Hijr, Ma'in Saleh. The land lies between Hijaz and Sham, stretching into northern Jordan and southern Tabuk. A devastating earthquake covered nearly 500 kilometers in length and 1 kilometer in width, shattering mountains and altering the landscape permanently. Strange, multicolored rocks and towering formations remain as divine warning signs. This is not a place for tourism. It is a land for weeping and reflection. Mosque Prophet Saleh and his people, sent by Allah to guide his people to Tawheed, monotheism. The mud were master architects, carving multi-story homes into solid rock. They lived in Wadi al-Qura, now filled with haunting silence and signs of past grandeur. Camel, the she-camel, Nakatullah. At Thamud's request, Allah miraculously brought forth a pregnant she-camel from a rock. She was a test and sign from Allah. She drank from the well one day, and on the next day, the people would drink her abundant milk. Later, she gave birth to a calf. They saw the miracle and still rejected the truth. Crossed swords, the killing and consequences. Jealous and arrogant, they plotted to kill the camel. The entire tribe agreed, men, women, even children. The she-camel was slaughtered, her calf ran away, and divine punishment was sealed. High voltage, the punishment. A mighty blast, earthquake, and lightning destroyed them all. Prophet Saleh and the believers were saved. Even Abu Righal, who survived by hiding in the Haram, was later destroyed when he stepped outside. Not one survived except those who believed. Brick architectural legacy. The Nabateans, centuries later, imitated their stone carving methods in Petra, Jordan. Thamud's homes still appear new, with intricate staircases and rows of dwellings. A testimony to their skill, yet a reminder of their downfall. Crying-faced Prophet Muhammad and the ruins. During the Battle of Tabuk, the Prophet and his companions passed through Thamud's ruins. Some companions drew water and began preparing food. The Prophet stopped them immediately. "Oh, do not consume anything from this cursed place. Oh, do not reside here. Pass through weeping, and if you cannot weep, then at least make the face of one who is weeping." Oh, he quickened his pace and covered his head as a sign of humility and fear. The punishment of Allah leaves its mark long after it strikes. Brain powerful reflections and lessons. 1. Signs remain in the earth for those who ponder and remember. 2. No skill or intelligence can save a people who defy their Lord. 3. Miracles alone do not create faith. Without sincerity and submission, signs are ignored. 4. Avoid cursed lands, treat ruins of punished nations with humility, not curiosity or tourism. 5. Follow divine instruction. the prophets did not act from emotion, but by Allah's command. Dove closing dua. May Allah protect us from arrogance, disbelief, and disobedience. May He make our deeds sincere, our hearts humble, and our lives full of His mercy. Ameen.